Welcome into Vikings Now. I am your host, RC Maxfield, and the preseason has finally came, and well, the first game is gone, and it was an ugly one for the Minnesota Vikings as they hosted the Denver Broncos and lost 33-6. But hey, there were some bright spots, which we will get to here in just a minute. But overall, it was a dominating day for the Denver Broncos, who had Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater battle it out for that QB1 spot. On the Minnesota Vikings side, well, it was kind of an interesting juggling act between Jake Browning as well as Kellen Mond, who had been in COVID-19 protocols for a while now. No Kirk Cousins, no Stanley either, just those two quarterbacks on the day for the Minnesota Vikings. And Jake Browning held his own. He went 5 for 10 for 31 yards. He did end up giving a pick 6 to the number 9 overall pick in the 2021 draft, and Patrick Surtain the second. But overall, I thought it was a decent day, all things considered, when it comes down to the quarterback play and just how much they've had to go through these past couple weeks when it does come down to the COVID reserve list. So don't hold back. What is your one-word reaction to the Vikings preseason opener? I'll be honest with you. It was an absolute stinker. Let's just be honest about it. But the results don't matter in the sense of winning and losing. You're just happy that a lot of your guys are healthy, and eventually you will have Kirk Cousins back for week 2 of the preseason, you would expect. So my one word is stinker, but let us know down in the comments your one word to describe the opener for the Vikings. Speaking of Kellen Mond, the third-round pick, the 66th overall pick by the Minnesota Vikings, went 6 for 16, 53 passing yards, and he did rush for 25. Again, he was in COVID-19 protocols for a while there, as well as Kirk Cousins and Stanley as well at the quarterback position, and that's why Jake Browning got the start today. Overall, I mean, it was just a rough day for the quarterbacks. Let's be honest about this. There's no positives to take away other than everybody was healthy when the game ended. But again, Minnesota has been going through a lot, and I mean an absolute lot, at the QB position. There's a reason they brought in Jake Browning, and now he's capitalizing on that opportunity. And he went 5 for 10 today, as I mentioned, did have that one interception where I think you just kind of have to give credit to Patrick Surtain the second on that, cut out an out route right there and took it to the house afterwards. But really overall, the offense struggled, and those lack of reps with the quarterbacks really did show today when it came down to the offense and its fragility to get down the field and actually capitalize on some of the plays that they did have throughout the day. One guy that really did stand out, A.J. Ross Jr. How about this? A 100-yard rusher in the preseason. You hardly ever see it, but the Vikings did have that in week 1 of the preseason. The rookie out of Kentucky had 25 carries for 100 yards, and he added on a catch for 18 yards as well. He was really the lone bright spot on the offense for the Vikings. Don't know really what it holds moving forward. You think about it, you have Dalvin Cook, who is the obvious RB1. Then you have Alexander Mattison. After that, it might be possible for him to get that, running back 3, but he's going to have to ball out and continue to ball out in the preseason to make this roster, maybe as a special teams guy. The other guy that stood out was the lone defensive guy that, well, in a 33-6 blowout, had a good game, and that was 4th-round pick Troy Dye out of Oregon, who had 7 tackles and 1 tackle for loss. Overall, let's be honest, there's no need to panic. It's week 1 of the preseason. It's not that big of a deal when it comes down to it, right? Your defense was going to struggle. Obviously, you don't want to give up that big play to KJ Hamler, which they did early on with Drew Lock, but there's no need to panic. It's week 1 of the preseason. You didn't even really get to see your starting offense out there at all, with no Adam Thielen, no Kirk Cousins, and obviously no Justin Jefferson, who was nursing a shoulder injury. So don't panic, Viking fans. Everything will be all right. It's just week 1. Just look forward to week 2 when it comes down to it. And hey, we want to know who you got in week 2 because the matchup, Colts-Vikings, it's up in Minneapolis again. The Colts last season had an 11-5 record. Vikings obviously didn't live up to the hype that they had last year, but they did show a lot of signs, and injuries were an issue, and they went 7-9. But predict the score for us down in the comments below. Who will win this preseason week 2 matchup between the AFC North's Minnesota Vikings and the AFC South's Indianapolis Colts?